Streaming cyberspace into your place, sanctioned by the Red Light Racing League from USA Speedway. It's the Virtual Gift Network's Live As It Happens 16th round coverage of the Skitter Creek SK Modified Series Season 14. Only a figurative handful, literally 5 venues, need to host events before the engravers cut yet another name onto this series championship trophy. Before Lady Luck offers her ribbons at Langley, Bristol, Stafford, and the finale at New Smyrna, this evening she'll surrender her applause as the Knights of Red Light Racing don themselves in the painted armor of their SK modified race cars to joust amongst themselves on the oval list field known as USA Speedway. All season long, no Cavalier has leaned into the tilt more fearlessly than current point leader Eric Teapot Stout. The confidence of 2 previous championships allows Stout to compete as if his armor were bolted to the saddle. But of all the seats at the round table, if one owns a lance long enough to unhorse Teapot, it might be top rookie Ethan the Mountain Troutman, who sits second in the points. So raise your tankard of mead, pull the lever on the lazy page, and toast the cavalry as they charge into battle of simulated short track racing that is about to stream your way a warm sunshine state. Hello and welcome on this Thursday night, December 4th, 2025. I'm back with the institution, J.R. Shepard. Of course, I am Bill Soupzon to bring you our Word's Eye View. We play Ryan Seneker, turn the knobs, and pushing the sliders. All right, partner, tell us about this place.
Well, so tonight we're at USA International Speedway, and this is one of the larger short tracks that the Red Light Racing League will go to this season. This place, it's 3/4 of a mile in length. The turns are banked around 14 degrees, but this place is super line sensitive. The bottom of the track, that's going to be the preferred way around, and if you get out of that groove just a little bit, it will open up opportunities for your competition to overtake you, especially in these SK Modifieds. Have to remember, these cars are momentum race cars and only produce around 400 horsepower, meaning the smallest mistake in the corners is going to cost you all the way down these long straights here. So, Soup, I expect to see a lot of great racing here tonight, but I also think we'll have to keep an eye out for those drivers that get stuck on that outside line just fighting to get back down into the preferred groove. That could be our areas of action tonight and will most likely lead to some kind of contact out there.
You know, JR, when I saw this was on the schedule, and personally, as a guy who's talent challenged, I kind of like this track. I don't know if it's easier for everybody, but for me, I feel more competitive on this thing than I usually do. But the first thing I went to go look at was the car of choice. Sometimes they race the Tour mods. I thought because it was bigger, they might go with that, but they are in the SKs. Does that make a difference?
It does make a difference. I mean, it's because of the momentum of those SKs. You know, in the Tour mods, you could make a little bit of a mistake in the corners and be able to make up with it in horsepower. But the SKs, if you lose that momentum in the corner and the driver behind you does not, they're going to have a huge advantage up out of the corner and down that straightaway because they're able to carry that speed all the way down the long straightaway here.
You pay for your mistakes a long time. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the points. These are fun. Now, the top 4 drivers all have wins this season. You can see that Eric Teapot Stout, he's really beginning to crush. He's got himself a 40-point lead. We talked about it in the open. Maybe Ethan the Mountain Troutman, the only driver with a slim chance to catch him. Then you look at drivers 5 through 10. All of those drivers are within, well, my goodness, it's 10 points of each other. Now, Higgins and Joshua Granny Hips Buckley, who sit in 5th and 7th, the Red Light Racing League has brought modifieds to this track 7 times, and Higgins and Buckley have never missed a race, but they don't have a win here. Now, Alcaraz doesn't have as much experience at this track, but he does have 2 wins already this season. Then you look down a little bit farther. Devin Avishna is very competitive rookie. Fred always there with Leclerc. He's been having a hard time of it. He does have a win, and he's sitting now in 9th and making his late charge. And then there is the man who loves, well, I don't know if he loves to finish in second, but he has a habit of doing it. Of course, we're talking about Bradley Stafford. All right. With that said, done, I believe we can talk about our grid sponsor here. And of course, it's racedayct.com. My goodness, no matter where you are, if you want the best information about short track racing in Connecticut, that's where you want to go. racedayct.com. All right, with that said, we can go ahead and give you the starting grid right now. We got a pretty full field considering the lateness of the season. Very competitive. As how many we get? We got a whole 22 drivers here today. I'll give you the first row here. On the pole, well, he leads in the points, and he's going to be the fastest on qualifying as well. It's Eric Stout with Brandon Bianchi outside of him.
Rolling off in third place tonight, Patrick Stout on the outside, Chad Alcaraz.
I believe we have 2 laps before we go green. Jeff Aho and Ken Allen go 5th and 6th.
Rolling off inside row 4, we got Brian Neff, and on the outside in 8th, Ethan Troutman.
He sits 10th in the points. He's going to start 9th to 9th. That is Bradley Steff. And then the man who's never missed a race here, Joshua Buckley outside him.
Rolling off in 11th, we've got Bill Benedict outside, Luke Logan Allen.
Talked about Buckley, more experience in the Baker's Dozen position with Rob Higgins in 13. Always there, Fred Leclerc flanking him.
Inside row 8, we got Chris Oliver. On the outside, Kevin Alicia.
Hotshot rookie Devin Visna will start in 17th, inside of Double Deuce Bruce Pearson.
In the 19th spot, rolling off, we got the 63 car of Glenn Jameson. On the outside in 20th, Alan Wanamaker.
Hidden Blackjack in his familiar petty red and blue number 43. It is Bob Higgins. Sorry. And then the last car on the field, car number 93, the Lipper, Chris Hazlip. Good to see 22 drivers here tonight. We should have a good one. 100 laps. Regular red light racing rules apply. You can come on in and get tires. You got 1 set to play with. Big Boy Racing. If you break it, you bought it. All right, the field will have to wait. They go on the flag man. You know what to do. Gather up the chicken dick, cover in the cows, because the horses are out of the barn. It's your point leader, Eric Teapot Stout, leading the stampede down into the first corner. Drifting way up high, that's Brian Bianchi looking for some momentum off of 2. We talked about the long straightaways here. My goodness, he was slow through the corner, fast coming off. He's going to try to get that position. He's going to lose ground and now give the second spot to Stout's little brother, Patrick. As he moves in there, again, Bianchi still trying to find his way down. Here's season 10 champion Jeff Aho moving into third.
Absolutely, and that is a great case of what happens when you get stuck on the outside here. You can kind of make turns 1 and 2 work a little bit, but as soon as you get to 3 and 4, there is no grip on that outside compared to that inside line. Brian, he falls back into 4th spot right now.
Rounding out your top 10, finally, Papa Ken Allen. He's going to duck down into what would be 5th position. Then your back half after you got 17 of Chad Alcaraz in there. Brian Neff having a good run. Bradley Steffen racing back in 8th. 9th and 10th, Granny Hips and the Mountain.
Yeah, and we're looking back in the pack right now, and odds are this is where you're going to see the most action here tonight, because all those drivers up front, they're getting single file as quickly as possible. They know how hard it is to be stuck on that outside line, so that's what drivers are trying to do. Luke Logan here, he's still on that outside line. He's been fighting pretty hard because he does not want to lose any more positions, but he's going to have to, and he falls in behind Leclerc here.
Fred Leclerc tucked down in. Now we got a little bit of a battle up front for third place. They are bunching up. Papa Ken Allen trying to peek down in underneath the 21 as Jeff Aho got stuck to the top side. Whoa, he gets loose and they bang a little bit as they come together. The rear end started to come around on the 21 and it drew him down into Papa Kenny. Kenny gets that spot, moved the season 10 champ now back into 4th. Let me correct myself, that would be 5th.
Yeah, and that's a characteristic that we're going to see here at USA. This car, it will get loose from the center off in turns 1 and 2, but you get down into 3 and 4, the car tends to have a little bit of a push, and you will see drivers get loose off of 4, but it's because of a push-loose type condition. So these drivers, they will be fighting different conditions on both ends of the racetrack, and they're going to have to adjust to that because, like I said, you make a mistake, that's what happens to you. What happened to Aho? He lost 2 spots because of it. Single file all the way around.
Here's a little peek. Man, the man on the move is the 49 of Papa Kenny Allen. Kenny Allen looking on the 14 now of Bianchi. Bianchi, an experienced red light racer, having trouble getting the power down on corner exit. Higgins stuck in there, and that's going to allow Aho maybe to get a couple spots back that he's lost. Remember, we got a long way to go here. 75 miles before this thing is done.
Yeah, one of the drivers, we're looking at him on screen right now, that I'm going to be watching throughout this race is Ken Allen, because last time this series was here, he finished second place, and he knows how to get around this joint. So if you watch him, especially through turns 1 and 2, he's staying very dedicated to that inside yellow line. He is running as low as anybody on the racetrack, seem even just barely touching it with the left side tires. And that tells me that he has a good handle on what his car is doing and how he needs to get around this place.
The Virtual Network carries lots of short track racing here on VGN, and each series has a different rule package. What makes this package a little interesting is they have an extra set of tires in there. We covered the Bootleg Racing League where you do not get to come in for tires, and it makes the early part of the race, well, a little more conservative. I think right now, maybe guys like Bianchi and especially guys like Papa Kenny Allen think, you know what? I'm going to work a little harder, see if I can stay with the Stout brothers. And sure enough, look how they ran them down with the theory that if I use up my stuff, JR, especially on this track, which is a little larger, I would think maybe a stop would be something you could possibly do.
Absolutely, especially if we get a caution with, 50, 40 to go, something like that would be great timing for these drivers. This track is historically one that you have to take care of your tires. Now, these SKs, they don't necessarily wear out the tires. It's about the temperature, but you pointed out, Sue, we're on a larger short track. We're running a lot of speed down the straightaways here, which means you carry that speed on corner entry. That adds to heat in those tires as you're turning that car and getting it slowed down. So this place, the tires will fall off during this race. Lap times will fall off. So having fresh rubber does mean something.
You know what's interesting is we ride on board there for a minute. We were on Bianchi. The Stout brothers were pulling away with it, with Eric and Patrick just having it their own way. I don't know if they're listening to the broadcast and maybe thought, we don't need to go so fast, but I'll tell you, Bianchi, and I don't know if it's because Bianchi is fast or if Ken Allen pushed him up there, but those two guys ran him down. Now, I've been watching Jeff Aho. He does not feel comfortable. I've seen that car get very loose, very squirrely. He keeps it going straight, and he has good pace. JR, just from watching from the booth, if that car is getting sideways, that can't help tires, right?
Absolutely not. That's going to put heat into those tires, and the more heat you have in them, the less grip you're going to have. And if he's sliding that rear end around, that's where it gets super tricky. If you get too much heat in that right front, that's when the car just pushes. That's manageable. But when you overheat that right rear tire, that's where the rear end becomes unpredictable, and it can even make you loose going into the corners, which is hard to hang on to in these cars.
I want to drop you back to the driver who's currently in 11th position. It's always there, Fred Leclerc. He's our big mover, and you know what? You talk about big movers, not that big of a mover, only up 3 spots. Passing at a premium. I don't know if it's going to be a little easier later or harder later when the tires wear out. I don't know how that plays out.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a race that plays into the hands of the drivers that know how to take care of their stuff. One of them we're looking at right there, we saw him earlier in the week in another series, the 22 of Bruce Pearson. He knows how to take care of his stuff, and he's not one that we talk about early in races, but he always shows up at the end, and that's because he takes care of his stuff, and this is a super important place for that. So if you've taken care of those tires, we get late into a run, other drivers are slipping and sliding. I talked about it. You've got to be dedicated to that inside line. If you're not able to keep your car down there, guys like Bruce will be able to pass you.
We talked about it earlier. Bruce cut his chops in the Bootleg Racing League, where the format has always been no pit stops, no tire change. So certainly he knows how to do it. Look at this. There's the Stout brothers up in front. Now, they've raced together a lot this season, and, it's been a matter of age over beauty in this one, as Eric has really got the best of his younger brother, Pat.
He very well has throughout this season. The big thing I noticed a minute ago, I think when these other drivers caught the Stout brothers, I think the Stout brothers were trying to take it a little bit easy, because they know that tire wear or tire temperature is going to be important here. But in doing so, they allowed those other 3 drivers to catch them. And now that those 3 drivers have caught them, they can't seem to get away. I saw Eric Stout pull away slightly, but now that group has closed back up. So I think this may be one of those things that backfires on them. We see Brian trying to take a look there going into 3.
I want to give you another perspective. Let's go on board in the Winn-Dixie 60 of Brian Neff. Now, he races in 6th. And go ahead and look, and you can see how far he has to go before he runs down the front train of 5. It's about half a straightaway. He can see him. That's never good for me. I have no talent. Whenever I can see the prey, it just makes me overdrive the car. I'm sorry, I cannot learn it. I've been doing it for a long time. I still can't hold back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Brian's got a lot of experience, especially at this track. It's one of the oldest tracks on the service. And a lot of the leagues run it. And you see up front now, we've actually got a battle for position. Brian Bianchi, he's able to get inside of Patrick Stout here, and Ken Allen's going to try to follow him through, and it should be a pretty easy pass for Ken if he's able to keep it down.
Bianchi had a great run out of 2, got great drive. Now he gets loose out of 2. What was good the last lap is not going to be good this time, and Ken Allen sees the opportunity after Allen followed him by and got the younger of the Stout boys. Now he also makes a move on Bianchi. Bianchi was in 3rd, had a taste of 2nd. Now he lost it. Look at this. Here comes Patrick back on the inside. This is some good racing.
This is great racing. Now, I'm not sure yet. Brian's not going to be able to get down, so Patrick's able to drive it in there. But Ken played that one exactly right. And we see some contact back there as Brian's trying to fight to get down. We talked about that potentially happening. But Ken showed his experience. He knew that when that pass was being made, he could potentially catch Brian off guard. And that's exactly what he did. He was able to get 2 passes made.
Allen sitting back there in 4th, watched all the horseplay in front of him. It was a good show. And then he said, all right. And he took the opportunity, goes from 4th to 2nd, and now is about a car length back on the older of the Stouts. Well, Stouts had a little bit of brotherly love behind him, but right now he's got somebody who is on the move. He is our big mover, and that's Ken Allen, up 4 spots.
Yeah, Ken is one that I've been watching all through practice. And like I said, he finished 2nd place the last time that they were here. So right now, he's going to be pushing Eric. We're going to find out if Eric's been saving or not, because if he's able to catch Eric, we know that Eric is using up all of his stuff. But if Eric starts to pull away, which I'm starting to see that gap opening up, we even see Ken Allen pulling away from that rest of that pack. So that tells me Eric was saving his stuff early.
We're going to jump back on another story to tell you. We were talking about Brian Neff trying to run down the front 5. Well, that didn't go well for him, because Chad Alcaraz, he's got 2 wins this season. He got underneath Neff now, and he moves into 6th. So now it's going to be the number 17's job to see if he can run down the front pack. And honestly, they haven't really been pulling away. And look at this, as this is Bianchi, who was making a run in there, and he was being challenged on the outside by the younger of the Stout brothers. Then that didn't work, and back there with butter on his gloves in the popcorn position was Jeff Aho. He's still back there.
Yeah, we saw Brian make that move on Patrick. We've seen it multiple times. It's so frustrating when you pass a guy and then you get yourself in a bad position that allows you to be passed back. That means you just have to go back to work. But you've done it before. You know how to get by that driver, and that's what he was ultimately able to do within a few laps there. And we see right now the leader is starting to catch lap traffic. This could come into play, because we saw it with the Ken Allen situation. When you're making passes on a driver, even if you're in that preferred groove, it will slow your corner exit.
Okay, let's play the VGN consumption game, as Soup's going to take a shot at this color. I think it's royal blue is the color there of Chris Hayslip. Might be purple. If I got it wrong, take a sip. What he is the last car on the lead lap. He's a veteran. He gives just enough room for Stout to get to the inside. He does. And he's going to bring Papa Kenny with him.
Yeah, Stout knew that his momentum was going to get slowed there, so he actually kept a really tight line up off the corner. That kind of prevented Ken from being able to make a big run. But you can see it could mix up our pack back here. It's going to give Jeff Aho a little bit of an opportunity on the exit here.
Surprisingly, Hayslip way off the pace as he is the last car on the lead lap, and there's not even close for a battle that he was battling for. The next one is coming up is the 43 of Bob Higgins, but Higgins is a long way away. It'll be a while before Stout gets there. Well, I don't want to underestimate the closing speed of Teapot, but I think he has more to worry about, not what's in front of him, it's what's behind him. Now look at this side-by-side battle going on a little bit farther. He's way back in 17th position. That's the 63 of rookie Glenn Jameson on the inside. He's got the 27 of Kevin Alicia. Boy, they are close. Good racing. They bang once, they bang twice. Alicia now bangs the outside wall. The 27's going to lose momentum. Double Deuce Bruce Pearson minding his own business back there saying, I'd like that position too. He's going to wait. Oh, up front. Battle for the lead, JR.
Yeah, Ken Allen is there. So this tells me Ken's got tons of speed. Now that he's got that lead, we got to make sure that Eric doesn't get a run here, and it doesn't look like he's going to. Now that he's got that lead, he's going to have to pull away just slightly, and then he's going to have to save his stuff. He does not want to overheat those tires. He wants something to work with late in this race if something odd happens.
People pay a lot of money to go to the American Northwest on Sasquatch tours. They pay a lot of money to take a plane over to Scotland, maybe get a shot at Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. Don't waste your money. You've seen something just as rare. Teapot, Eric Stout, passed on track for the lead.
Yeah, we go on the replay here, and it looked like Eric just was not able to hold that car down through the corners. Ken, like I've said, he's been doing a fantastic job. You see him right here keeping those left side tires right against that yellow line on the inside. That's what it's going to take. That's how you take care of your tires throughout a run, and that's exactly where the most grip is on this racetrack. So you got to continue to hit those marks if you want to move forward.
I'm saw it. I'm not sure I believe it. It could be a cheap fake, some artificial intelligence there, showing us something that is impossible. Look at this side-by-side battle now. This is Jeff Aho on the inside, and then the younger and more handsome of the Stout brothers, Patrick, on the outside. It looks like the Season 10 champ's going to get this. The Stouts are going the wrong direction.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Like you said, it's confusing. We see back here, we see Luke Logan. He's trying to make a pass on Fred Leclerc. Those two have been around each other this whole race so far, and Luke's looking to move forward. And I would say from experience, watching Luke on track, that this is the type of car handling that would play into his hand late in a race. He's able to have great car control, and these cars, they will start to lose grip. They will start to move around a little bit more each and every lap.
It's hard for me to say this considering one of those drivers is like 8 years old, but a pair of veterans going at it right there. Luke Logan, and always there, Fred Leclerc. A little bit of a hokey doke, little dipsy-do, a little up and under. He loses momentum, and a hello from Bill Benedict, your season 1 round winner.
Yeah, let me tell you what we just saw happen with Fred there. It is super easy. We haven't talked about it, but turn 3 is so inviting at this racetrack. It looks like you can drive in so hard, but if you do, you're going to slide right up the racetrack, and that's why that contact was made. He was trying to overslow the car through the center, and Benedict just was not able to check up in time, but that is something that is a characteristic of this place. You can drive into turn 3 super easy to overdrive it. I can't tell you. It's very hard to describe without being in the driver's seat, but it's very easy to overdrive. It's just inviting.
Rob Higgins, a man with lots of experience at this place, trying to get underneath rookie Devin Visna. We talked about the veterans up above with Leclerc and now we got another battle for the lead. Let's look up front as they make a run for it.
Yeah, definitely. Eric was able to get that back in a controlling way. We'll have to see how this plays out, and I don't know. We could see a lot of strategy going on here, Soup, but Eric was able to get to the inside of Ken prior to going into turn 3 there. We'll see if Ken's able to keep up with him, but I kind of got to wonder if Stout saw Bianchi, catching that pack and thought, I need to go.
I know my partner talks about tire heat more important than tire wear, but I just got to wonder if Papa Kenny Allen, who worked so hard to come all the way through the field, remember, he's up 4 spots, is maybe he doesn't have quite as much on there right now. He seems to be struggling because now Bianchi looking to get him back. And look what's been going on back there with Season 10 champ Jeff Aho. For the first half of the race, as we are on lap number 52, he just waited. Here's Bianchi looking to the inside. I think the bloom could be off the Ken Allen Rose right now, as he's been troubled. Not only going to lose that spot to Bianchi, let's throw in Season 10 champ Jeff Aho as he comes through as well.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's starting to struggle now that we're just past halfway. And I can tell you from past races that I've been in here, we see some contact with Aho and Bianchi. Come on, Bianchi goes around.
Got him once, got him twice, and turned him, and the caution comes out. Honestly, that may not be the worst thing for Papa Ken Allen. He was struggling. It might be tire time. And now the question is, if you are the leader, if you are Eric Stout, you got 4 wins. You got to figure that whatever I do, a lot of guys are, boy, there's a hard contact into the wall there for Allen. JR, you got to figure some guys are going to do whatever Teapot doesn't do.
Yeah, absolutely. We first watched this replay, and we saw the contact in the center of the corner kind of sent Brian up the track slightly, and then he had to slow up because he's trying to catch the car. Aho got into him once again. You can see how close Allen was. So it's just really close checkup type situation there that led to that. But absolutely, the pit stops, I would expect drivers to want tires. If I'm out there, I'm probably going to come in and get tires. But like you said, if I come in, a lot of people are going to stay out. And right now, we see Stout staying out. So there's several drivers that were up front that continue to run out there.
I think Ken Allen, who was really fast, remember, he's the driver. If you're not familiar, I mean, people who are familiar with what we just saw will realize the story of the race for Ken Allen. Ken Allen climbed his way through the field, got all the way up to the front before he got into it with Jeff Aho, spun around, backed the car into the inside wall, came in and got tires. So the question is, he was fast beforehand. Where is he going to come out? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars. That is not good if you're the leader.
No, I think that's very manageable, and this is the risk versus reward thing. So if you come in and pit and you have a lot of drivers stay out, you're running the risk of getting caught up in someone else's accident as you try to come through the field. Ken, he's going to be out in 7th place, so that's super manageable, and he's got less to run on this run than he did in that first run, and we only saw him start to fall off about 5 laps at the end of that run. So he knows how hard he can drive this car. He's going to have the grip, and I expect him to make quick passes on those 2 or 3 drivers that are right ahead of him because they've not been anywhere near his pace.
So, JR, if I'm in the car, and let's say I'm Stout, am I able to look at the tire temperatures and see how hard they are? And right now, can I see them cooling off, or is that just all by feel?
It's all by feel if you stay on the track. Now, if you come into the pits, you don't have to get tires. You can come in and get fuel. But if you come into the pits, you do get to see what your tire temperature and your tire wear is. So that's the advantage of coming down. You can kind of gauge what's going on. But when you're left out on the racetrack, you have no idea. There's no visual to tell you. It's all by feel.
How unsure are you about your turn-in point now with totally different tires? If you're Stout, you feel pretty good about it? You know where you're going? You know how to do it?
I think so. The tires have cooled down enough that those leaders are going to be fast for 2 or 3 laps. So it's going to feel very similar to the beginning of this race.
Well, here they go. So Teapot took the inside line. You have a pair of champions racing. 2-time champion on the inside, a single-time champion on the outside. Look at the drive on the outside, though. Now, JR, how long can Aho make this work? Is it going to happen soon, or is he going to have to give it up? Looks like he has to give it up.
Yeah, he has to do it in that first lap. If it's not done, it's not going to happen. The outside's just too slow through 3 and 4. But you can see how closely compacted all of these drivers are. Ken's going to want to make passes quick because he does not want to get caught up in a mess that's in front of him.
The Ken he is talking about is Ken Allen in the 49. He's already got his way. He started in 7th. He's already got his way up to 5th. He is Hudden. Joshua Granny hits Buckley. Haven't heard much from Buckley so far. He's got good track position because he stayed out. Now back in behind, there are some drivers. The 89's going around, I think, with a little help from his friends of Ethan Troutman.
Oh, yeah, and Troutman, I think, got nailed by Brian Neff. I believe it was Brian Neff that came around with nowhere to go. So Troutman may very well have some damage. I think Steffen's going to be able to get away with that one. Troutman's going to drive away, but I think he's probably going to have some type of toe or suspension damage that's going to slow him down. We look at the replay here. You can see Bradley Steffen, he's loose because he has a car on his outside. He's trying to keep that car pinned down. These cars are very loose when the tires are cold. So that's what he was fighting there. And in return, it was a checkup with Troutman getting in the back of him, Benedict into the back of Troutman. And then you see right here, the car's trying to get by. Right there was the contact I was talking about, Brian Neff. And yeah, indeed, you can see Troutman's right front suspension wobbling there. So it's broken. He's not going to be able to finish this race.
In fact, Troutman actually, on the pace lap, he had trouble controlling the car. So that may be it for the mountain. Now, remember, Bradley Steffen was one of the drivers. He came out right behind Ken Allen on those new tires. So he was not only feeling good, but he was also in a hurry to make some hay while the sun was shining. Ken Allen falls back in. He had the pass made on Josh Buckley, but Buckley came back and got him right before the yellow came out. So look for Allen to be starting outside of row 3. I don't think anybody's going to come in for a pit stop. If you would have done it, you would have done it before.
Yeah, absolutely. The only people that might pit would be ones that stayed out and then got involved in that accident there. And I just don't think that there was anybody in the field that was in that case. So sounds like Higgins was the only one that came down pit road this time. So yeah, absolutely. You do not want to pit. There's not enough time to make that tire differential at this point. If you're one of those guys that has a set saved, you're going to kind of be banking on there to be like a 10 or 15 lap shootout at the end of this race. And even then, it's going to be hard to come through the field because we still have a lot of cars on the lead lap here.
Just to clarify, guys who are on new rubber, guys who are on old rubber, your top 5 old rubber plus the driver in 7th, rookie Kevin Visna. Everybody else came in and got new stuff, including Papa Kenny Allen, who's up front. Now, my partner talked about it. He knows his place. He's good at this place. And he's got himself in the best position, at least equipment-wise, to make a run at it.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this restart plays out. Ken Allen's, like you said, the highest running driver with new rubber on the car, but he's going to be restarting on the outside here, and I anticipate that outside line not going very well. So he may lose a couple of spots, and that means he's going to have to drive that much harder to get back up front.
Outside line has Aho, and then also in front of him is the young kid Lemon Lime, Luke Logan Allen. We cannot dismiss what this guy has done. He has worked his way all the way up. Started way back in 12th, racing in 4th right now, working on that outside line. We got another caution. I think it's Kevin Alicia might be going around. If I'm looking at the right spot, does he get a little help? If I'm looking at the right thing, does the 90 of Bill Benedict get into him and turn him?
Get a look here on this restart. Yeah, definitely just going into turn 1. A differencing of opinions there. You know, one driver wants to kind of arc it in. That's what we saw the 27 do. And then Bill Benedict was kind of driving a straight line, straight in toward the bottom. And when you do that, it's not that you're dive bombing the guy. It's just that your momentum carries you into the corner faster when you turn in earlier. And that's what led to that contact there. But that was right after the restart when everybody was still stacked up.
Let me go ahead and see if I can dial up a little race drama here for you all. Let's see if we can pull up Jeff Aho, see if I can provoke him into heating up here a bit. Jeff, it's soup up here in the booth. Let me tell you something. Social media is blowing up. Everyone is saying for you to pin Teakpot down there. Any chance of you pinning down Stout and making that outside line work?
Well, he got me on the last restart, so I couldn't pin him down. I'm going to try it this time and just hold it open and drive like an 8 coming out of 2, and hopefully I can pass him on the outside. But I only have one shot because it's not going to do it for 2 laps.
That's what we thought. Good luck, man.
Thanks.
Viewers, I am here for you. Let's try to Give these guys a little motivation.
Yeah, Soup, that urgency that you heard from Jeff, we talked about it on the previous restart. You got about a lap. He knows that, and that urgency is what kind of leads to contact, especially as we get later into this race. So this very well could lead to something up front. And if you're somebody like Ken Allen, it's not what you want, because you're probably going to get involved in it because you're further back. The drivers that are closest to that wreck are going to have the best opportunity to try to get around it. I know it sounds weird, but we talked about these SK modifieds that are hard to see out of. The further back you are, the more likely you're going to get some contact.
Two things made me smile on that one. Is first, Aho was saying basically what my partner was saying in the broadcast. I got to make it work one lap. If it doesn't work by then, it's not going to work. And second, if you're new to this series, being up front is probably the most dangerous place to be. This series has a reputation of the leader getting into trouble. Yeah, they're already banging on the pace lap.
Yeah, it's head games going on, and that's fine. But that's what's going on exactly. Just letting him know, hey, don't try to drive me up the track. I plan on hanging out there for a while.
Now, this is very different from what we do on some other short tracks. They go on the flag, so that's an advantage out there to Aho. He should, in theory, be able to get an equal start. Boy, he is right there, and they do get a good start. Maybe Kid Lemon Lime will give a little help. Now, let's see if Aho pins him down. He gives Stout a lot of room. Look at his brother getting into the back of Big Brother, and he goes around in front of the whole field. Katie bar the door. Good night, nurse. It's the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, that's exactly what we anticipated, and several drivers caught up in that. Patrick Stout, he was one of them that was up there trying to make a pass for second place. He's caught up in it. We saw Ken Allen get caught up in it. I'm not sure how much damage he got. It did seem to drive away. But, yeah, exactly what you did not want to have happen if you were anywhere near these drivers.
Okay, if you are new to sim racing and you were thinking about maybe doing some sim race broadcasting because it looks fun, let this be a cautionary tale. Do not provoke the guys into racing harder than they need to. I feel partly responsible for that pileup. My goodness.
It's just the amped up energy of racing like this. At a track like USA where the outside groove does not work for at least more than a lap or two. And Jeff Aho knew that, and he was running hard. But what I see here, so a couple of things now that I've seen multiple angles of that replay, I think Patrick made a slight bump to Eric in the center of that corner. And I think in return, Eric, just barely moved up the track. Aho saw that out of the corner of his eye, and he in return opened up his wheel, which sent him up the track slightly. And as he's turning back down and applying that throttle hard, that's what kicked the rear end sideways. And we'll see if we can get a bird's eye view here. So they go into the corner, and I think you'll see Patrick just barely make some contact with Eric. Now, again, Eric doesn't move a whole lot, but I think it kind of threw him off from hitting the bottom of the track the way he wanted to. Aho was trying to pin him down. Aho opened the wheel a little bit, and it got him just a little bit too high on corner exit. Had to put too much wheel into it, and that's what caused that rear end to go around ultimately, I believe.
So it got the younger Stout. Now look at the 49 who was last in there. He had moved all the way up into third place, but he had to come in. We're talking about Ken Allen. He had to come in on that last lap for repairs. So he's out of the picture. The guy who got through clean might be Kid Lemon Lime, Luke Logan Allen. Let's see if the lights go off the pace car. If they stay on, we'll go ahead and talk. Nope. And Allen comes back out. The lights are off, so we're not going to bother the youngster.
No, but I don't think, in Eric's mind, he's probably thinking, hey, all my competition just wiped each other out.
Yeah.
But Luke, I talked about it earlier. He can drive a bad handling race car, a car that does not agree with what you're wanting to do with it. So this could be trouble for Eric.
And I apologize for using this adjective to talk about Luke, but he is truly a sweet kid. But I would never go to him and say, pin down the points leader, but let's go ahead and see what the young man's got in him. Here we go. Go get him, kid. Kid Lemon Lime on the outside. Teapot on the inside. Look at the kid roll the top. Can he finish the job? He's out there. Clear. He's there. He's done it.
Yeah, that's how you do turns 1 and 2 on a restart. And if anybody could do it, it was him. So now what he's got to focus on, 25 laps to go here. He's got to focus on keeping the left sides against that yellow line. If he does that, Eric Stout's going to have a minimal chance of being able to make that pass once again.
64 laps out front has been Eric Teapot Stout. But right now, the kid rolls the top. Luke Logan Allen. His dad was in the mix. His dad might have been the best car out there. But Papa Kenny ran into trouble, had to make a late pit stop. Don't worry, Pops, I got it. If like father, like son, he moves to the front, Luke Logan Allen. He comes through, working lap number 78, 22 laps between him and an amazing win.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's doing what he needs right now. I see him hitting his marks. Doesn't look like he's doing anything aggressive on corner entry or exit. But we do know how well Eric is able to handle the car once those tire temps come up. So this is what we're going to have to watch, is the changing of the handling of this race car as we get further into this run. It's a shorter run, but this handling will change, and Eric looks like he's slowly closing back up in the corners.
You want tire? Look at a good run off of 2. He doesn't force the issue. He gets into the back, but he's going to wait. No, he ducks the Nerf bar down in there, leaves just enough room. Gets to the inside. Look at the drive off. A bumping, some banging. They're side by side. Watching in the popcorn position, always there. Fred Leclerc, 3 wide. Not yet. The kid's in trouble, though. He's going to lose the spot. He was out in front for 4 laps, but now he's lost it, but he's fighting back. Leclerc has the fresher tire of the 3. Both of the guys up front are on old stuff. Stout beginning to pull away, and now the outside line beginning to cost Luke Logan.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to fall back a little bit here just because there's no grip out there. He had a chance to do. Oh, and Chad Alcaraz hits the apron and goes around. That brings out another caution in turn 2.
Alcaraz was coming. I was just looking to see what his tire situation was like. He was on fresh stuff, but now he falls way back.
Yeah, he absolutely was. I really thought that him and Leclerc would be able to make a good run here, but you can see, I mean, it's the smallest contact with the apron that ended up sending him around. But what it does, like, this car is already free from the center of 1 and 2 off. It's already naturally free. If you touch that apron, it de-wedges the car even more and just causes that rear end to whip around quickly. There's nothing you can do about it when it happens. So it's, yeah, right there. So you see that left front tire just dips below the yellow line. They had to get all the way on that apron, and that's when that car took off on him.
I'm going to challenge my director to go hunting and see if he can find the microphone channel for Fred Always There Leclerc, car number 71. Are you able to find him? We'll see if we can. Fred, it's soup up here in the booth. So here's the story. We saw Aho try to make the outside line work. It didn't. It caused a big pileup. Then we saw Kid Lemon Lime, Luke Logan Allen on the outside. He did make it work. Now you're in that position. You got a shot at it?
I got a shot at it, but Eric's good on the bottom. I hope my tires are just a little fresher. That will help me out.
They are much fresher. He's on the same tires he started with. You're on new stuff that's only been out there for 12 laps. I know it's about tire temperature. You going to give it your best shot?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to try and get the lead from the outside here coming down the front stretch.
All right, we're pulling for you. Good luck.
Thank you.
My goodness. This should be fun. Now, unfortunately, Luke Logan Allen, who made the outside line work, I don't know if he's happy about this. He's stuck on the inside. And rookie, Glenn Jamieson, man, he is a fan favorite. He might not be as competitive this season, but watch out for him for season 14. How about seeing him running up front season 16? I think he's 1 season away of seasoning for Jamieson. It's good rum. Jamieson is you need to age the rum. So that's what has to happen there for him. All right, they're doubling up. No surprise, JR, the inside line is where Stout goes.
Yeah, absolutely. The interesting thing for this restart, you talked about it, Luke Logan starting in 3rd spot. So we know Fred Leclerc's got fresher tires. I expect a side-by-side battle from that front row going through turns 1 and 2. That in return could slow them up enough that Luke Logan's able to get a run on corner exit and make it 3 wide down the backstretch here, which would be super exciting. So we need to watch this and see what happens.
Oh, we're always a fan of 3 wide. 15 to go. It'll be lap number 86 when they take the green. The perfectly mesmerizing Josie Kirkland, always behind the wheel of the pace car. She pulls it in, turns control over to the flagman. They wait. Check a look, what a hole! And it is side by side into the first corner. Let's watch the outside line. This is where the momentum happens. Coming out of 2. He gets a good run. Not as good as Luke Logan Allen had. Oh, he's running out of time. From what I've learned, 1 and 2 work better than 3 and 4. But no, look at the 71 working hard. Can he get it done on the second lap? He's losing ground little by little, and that's leaving an opportunity for Kid Lemon Lime to get the number 6 down in there. Stuck on the outside now is always there Fred Leclerc, and I think always there is going to be 3rd place by the time this sorts out as he's stuck on the outside. Anybody challenging for 4th? Nope, they're side by side. It looks like there's going to be room. Good racing.
Yeah, good racing. We still got some side-by-side racing in the next couple of rows back. So these drivers, they're fighting hard, and that was the worst case for Fred Leclerc, not able to get that pass. So he's going to lose an additional spot, and he's going to have to go back to work. He does have the fresher tires, the most grip out of anybody up front, but he's got to go to work to make those passes now.
Oh, my goodness, there is a caution brewing back here in the battle a little farther back. That's the 89 who gets the best of it. Bradley Steffen, notorious for finishing second, gets just in front of Glenn Jamison, the rookie. They are bumping. Boy, I'm telling you, nose to tail, and now a lot of momentum lost by Leclerc and those guys that we were watching pull right up on the back of the 71.
Yeah, absolutely. These drivers are fighting hard. There's going to be a lot of contact. I believe there might have been some there between Bianchi and Jamison going into the turn, but there's a lot of checkup action happening, and that's going to accordion back and lead to even further contact.
10 to go. We should give a shout out. I saw the 22 at Double Deuce, Bruce Pearson back there racing now in 8th spot. Notorious for keeping his stuff. Don't know if he has enough to get to the front, but he could certainly pick up some spots. Let's look at the 14 of Bianchi trying to look underneath of the 63 of the rookie Jamison. That's not going to work. There is a yellow flag blowing from second back. Meanwhile, having it all his own way is Teapot, Eric Stout. He's led 76 of the 92 laps we've raced so far.
Yeah, and right now, I got to think those drivers with fresher tires are hoping that there's going to be some type of a caution. Oh, and there's a spin. That's Bradley Steffen going around one car upside down. I believe that was Jamison. And you see the spins happening in the background. Kevin Alicia and Ken Allen there.
Yeah, we knew that they took that race and put it into a oak barrel, and it was stirred it up and going over was Glenn Jamison.
And we see the replay here. So Brian having a little bit of a look, not really intending to get to the inside there, but Jamison was slightly to the inside of Steffen. And I think that's some of that turn 3 deal I talked about. It's inviting the driver in there a little hard because Jamison was not on the bottom. In return, that spun Steffen around, and Jamison goes up and over with a wheel-to-wheel contact. So, yeah, that's ending a couple of drivers' nights that had started in the back, making their way forward, and it's just not going to end well for them here.
All right, now we have a question of who learns the fastest, old age or a fresh brain. We've got side by side Luke Logan Allen on the outside, Eric Stout on the inside. The last time we saw this, the kid got the better of it. Can the old guy, can the veteran, can the two-time champion, can your current point leader figure out how this works? Or possibly is this the first sign of the passing of the torch? This will be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be on Stout's mind the entire time that we're pacing here because he knows that Luke is back behind him. So, yeah, be interesting to see what happens. I'm not sure if Stout's going to try to drive it into turn 1 really hard. In return, could slide up, and that could open the door for Fred Leclerc right there. So there's a lot that could potentially happen here, and I'm not sure, Soup, if we're done with cautions because in this league, we do have the opportunity for three green-white checkered attempts. So we know how the end of these races get. The contact's usually from up front. we'll see what happens.
All right, they're telling me that social media is blowing up again. And in contrast, dichotomy of what we did earlier when we went and talked to the guy on the outside of row 1 and tried to provoke him to make the move. All the stuff I'm getting right now are leave the kid alone. So, okay, folks, rest easy. I'm not going to bother Luke Logan Allen. He knows what he needs to do. He's done it once. Can he do it again? This time he has behind him, and in a hurry, Bill Benedict. Benedict won the season opener, looking for another one, and then he's got Fred Leclerc on the inside. This should be very entertaining. If you really want to go a little bit farther back, how about Kevin Alicia outside of row 3 with rookie Devin Vishna on the inside of row 3? Here we go. Not a whole lot of laps to go. They'll be working lap number 97 when they come across the line. Oh, Luke Logan Allen waiting a little bit back, trying to get a little bit of a jump. They go together. A little bit of a help back there from the 90. They go into the first corner. Now, watch. This is where the kid was really fast last time. Coming out of 2, not this time. He gains a little bit. He gains a little bit more. Can he pin? We got another caution. They get to do it one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see what the caution is, but this is why you need to fight hard up front, because if you just barely have the lead when the caution comes out, you've got the lead. So it was very close on what that was, and yeah, it looked like the 27 of Kevin Alicia. You see he's having some connection problems, so he actually blinked out, and the other drivers just were not aware of where he was. There's no way that they could be, so I think that led to the contact that we saw there in the spin.
Not sure how fast of a bullet it was for Eric Stout to dodge, but he did dodge one because easily Luke Logan Allen could have come off a 2 with a run and been at the lead down the backstretch. You know, maybe he wouldn't have been able to finish the pass, but like my partner said, boy, he could have been there. He gets to try it one more time. He can take some notes. So we've been talking, JR, about the younger of the Allen, but how's his dad doing?
Yeah, he's made his way back up into 7th, so he still has a rolling car. I'm not sure that it's handling the way that he needs to go and race and make some passes, but the drivers around him have had a rough night as well. So the potential's there, but that's exactly why, especially in a league like this, we've seen so many cautions, so many weird things happen. If you get involved in an accident, you've got to get yourself back rolling, trying to stay on that lead lap, because you could very well, I mean, Ken Allen, after his misfortunes, he was back in 15th spot. He's now back up into 7th.
Mama Allen, I know it's a school night, so it's probably a little bit late to order pizza for the boy, but since tomorrow is Friday and both of your men are having such a great race, how about pizza tomorrow night for the family? You take the night off, order in something, and put some pineapple on it and tell them Soup sent you. See if they give you the VGN discount. All right, we've got ourselves a green-white checker. I know how this works. They'll get the green, they come around, then it's the white, and then it's a checker flag. 2 laps. Here we go. And no, here we don't go, because I also have been doing this long enough to know that if the pace car is still out there, they can't go racing. So let's make it lap number 101.
Yeah, and the important thing for these drivers now that we are doing our first green-white checkered attempt is they want to get to that white flag. So as long as they get to that white flag, they know that there won't be another restart. But if something happens on this opening lap, we could go into double overtime or even triple overtime. So we'll see how how the action goes. We got to watch up front. That's where it's going to be at.
How good of a strategy is coming in to get fresh tires where only 2 cars have been out there the entire time? What 2 cars are they? The ones that are on the front row. They're on the same tires they started with. Here we go. A little bit of a push there from the 90. That is Bill Benedict trying to get the kid to go. They go down into corner number 1. He just doing his best. They are side by side. There's no caution yet. If the caution flies now, it goes to Kid Lemon Lime. He'd be in the preferred position. But now the inside line prevails. Coming around, they get the white flag. This is it. There'll be no more flags to stop the race. It's going to end how it ends. Out in front, it is Teapot. There is a battle for second. Look at this. Fred Leclerc is going to get the best. A Kid Lemon Lime, he's going to have to settle for 3rd. How's his dad doing? Oh, he's dropping spots, not making a run. But out of the final corner, he's going to win his 5th time this season. two-time and point leader on his way to 3 championships is Eric Teapot Stout. Always there, Fred Leclerc is there in second, with Kid Lemon Lime coming home in third. We get to talk to the young man. Woo, boy, this was a good one. What we're going to do is take a short break, but don't go away. Come back for us to run down the entire finishing order, talk to the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Who you watching? The Virtual Grip Network. Don't call the plumber, your pipes are fine. That's cyberspace streaming into your place. Sanctioned by the Red Light Racing League. From USA Speedway, it's the Virtual Grip Network's Live as It Happens 16th round coverage of the Skitter Creek SK Modified Series Season 14. The results are in. Let's give them to you right now, as I can call them up, and we'll go ahead and give them to you. All right, well, he picks up his 5th win of the season, extends his point lead, and of course, we're talking about two-time and defending champion Eric Teapot Stout. Always there, Fred Leclerc started in 14th, worked his way up. There was lots of attrition. He weaved his way through some of the chaos. He'll come home in second. He was able to get to the front and led for 4 laps. We're talking about Kid Lemon Lime, Luke Logan Allen. He comes home in third. Bill Benedict in 4th with Bradley Steffen rounding out your top 5. Rookie Devin Visna will come home in 6th with Chad Alcaraz right behind him. All right, now, here we go. Mala Allen, listen to this one. With a 3rd place from your son and an 8th place from your dad, we've taken the vote. We've decided on some barbecue chicken pizza with Hawaiian, with some pineapple and some chicken and barbecue sauce there. Maybe throw some onions on it. That's what's going to happen in your household tomorrow as Ken Allen comes home in 8th. Bob Higgins will be in 9th, and rounding out your top 10, it's the number 14 of Brian Bianchi.
Yeah, come home in 11th place tonight. We got Brian Neff. 12th place, we go to Chris Hazlett. Kevin Alicia, we saw him some contact there with connection issues. He'll come home in 13th place. Rob Higgins will come home in 14th. Bruce Pearson was almost going to have a great run, got caught up in that late accident. He'll come home in 15th. Glenn Jameson, saw him on his lid late in this race. He'll come home in 16th place. Josh Buckley, 17th place. Patrick Stout, 33 laps down in this one, getting caught up in that big one, along with Jeff Aho and Chris Oliver, 19th and 20th.
Final 2 drivers, Hidden Blackjack. It's Ethan the Mountain Troutman. He's 43 laps down and only able to go a handful, I think about 38 laps, was Alan Wanamaker in his 9-ball special. With that said, let's dial up race winner, point champion, 2-time champion. They call him Teapot. It is Eric Stout. Eric, we didn't talk to you during the race, but we talked to everybody who started on the outside of you. Man, it was fun to watch what they were doing to you.
You know, really really fun night. Intense racing up there. I honestly thought that Jeff and Ken were really the guys to beat. And I don't know what happened in qualifying. I know we've talked about it before. Qualifying is really, kind of at least for me, like the most important thing, to be able to start with the track position. And I was able to lay down a really good qualifying lap. But there was a couple moments there, I think maybe when Bianchi had finally gotten by Patrick, and then obviously Ken got to me, and then I was able to kind of return the favor with the draft. There's a moment in the middle of the race, about like maybe 40 or so laps in, where the car really freed up a lot. And I was having a tough time with it. And then when I got behind Ken, I saw he was having a tough time with it. And I think that's what helped me get by him. But yeah, just really intense, competitive racing. Stinks that we weren't able to kind of stay green there and just race it out, because I think we would have put on a really good show out front. But happy that I was able to get the W and hang on and beat Luke. We were just chatting in the room there. I thought he was on new tires, because that one restart he was shot out of a cannon, and then I got by him, and then that was kind of that. But overall good night. Obviously Jeff and Ethan had tough nights. Just shows how quickly those things can happen. That's it. Happy for the win.
It was a good race. You got the win, but it was definitely exciting. Good luck. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks, Soup.
There he is, Ethan Stout, your point leader, two-time champion, well on his way to a third. Partner, who you got?
I'm with Fred Leclerc, second place tonight. Hey, Fred, congratulations, first of all, but you won a race last week at Five Flags. You come here and finish second place. Where'd this momentum come from?
I don't know. I like the bigger tracks this season.
It looked like you had it going on, especially there at the end of the race. We know that you had fresher tires. We saw Eric and Luke Logan kind of mixing it up out front there. Did you think that there was going to be an opportunity with those restarts where something might happen up front and you could capitalize on it?
I was hoping they touched a little down the backstretch, and I would have probably been able to get a run down in the 3. But other than that, I didn't. I was content just following, because it was from where I started the race to finish. I was happy.
Completely understand, man. Looking at the points, I mean, you came in here 9th place in points. Great points night once again for you. So you're going to be moving up, which I'll get you out of here on this one. Next week, we go to Langley for 100 laps. That's a little bit different track than what we had here tonight. What are your thoughts going in there?
I like the flat track, but I can get myself in trouble there real quick if I'm not careful, because I will burn the right front off there.
Well, take it easy there. Save your tires. Stay out of trouble. You might be up in the booth once again next week, man. Hopefully.
I hope I surprise all of us and I'm back up here talking to you guys next week.
All right, sounds good, man. Hey, congratulations on that big run tonight. Two weeks in a row there.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that was Fred Leclerc, second place tonight. Soup, who you got?
I got the kid, Luke Logan Allen. Luke, you have a copy?
I believe so.
All right, so you can fool Eric Stout once, making it work from the outside line on the restart. He wouldn't fall for it again.
Yep. Fortunately, the right front was a little worn out and didn't really have the grip going into 3.
Was that the trouble also as you held the lead for, let me see, you were out in front for 4 laps, then you had to give it back up. Was this hard to keep the car down?
Yep. It was pretty hard to get down. It was wearing out after like 2-3 laps. It was starting to get hard to drive it down there.
Okay, now listen, you drive other cars and you know the tire package and how things do differently. I'm going to ask you a tough question here. You were only one of 2 cars. You and Stout were the only guys who stayed out the whole time on tires. If this was a different car that you were driving, would a pit stop be more advantageous, or can you make it work longer on the SK Modifieds on the same set of tires?
I'd say yes, you can make it work longer on the SK mods compared to other cars, but if it was any other car, I definitely would have pit right there at that car.
Good to know. All right, now here's the question that everyone wants to know about. Lunchtime at school. Everyone wants to know, are you packing your lunch? Is there a lunch box or a bag where your lunch is coming to school with you? Or are you eating in the cafeteria?
Packing it.
Attaboy. And then so I got to follow up on this one. Does that mean that when you eat your lunch, are you outside under the sky?
Nope, we're in a little box.
Oh, that's not good. A
In
little
the
box.
building.
Oh, that's not good. Let me, if you can, send me the name of your school. I'll see if I can get you guys do a little public support. Get you guys eating lunch outside like kids are supposed to. Good job. We'll see you down the road. Congratulations. Podiums are becoming commonplace for you, man.
Yep. Thanks
All right.
for having me.
Good job, Luke Logan Allen. Third place today and soon to be eating his lunch out underneath an open sky the way the children are supposed to. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. We're going to do it again right now as the director puts up, look where we're going, South Boston Worldwide Tech Raceway. Where is that? Is that Laguna Seca? Oh, that's Gateway. All right, there we go. Five Flags Speedway. I know where that is. Langley. Oh, I got some good stories about Langley. Oh, there's some big controversy going on there about buried people under the track. And of course, we're going to Langley twice, so you're going to get the story. If you miss it the first time, you get it the next time. Tune in for those. Now, those broadcasts feature one, past one, all a production of the Virtual Grip Network. Look at all the little faces that you see on there that make this thing work on their behalf. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. If not, we'll try to do better next time. Until then, have fun storming the castle.